Hey, it's Tuesday. Welcome to Tuesday, and we're going to start class with the Palabra de Dios, the Word of God. Hopefully you're getting in the Word of God yourself each day. But the Word of God in Spanish, Gálatas 5:1, Cristo nos libertó para que vivamos en libertad. Christ liberated us. Para que, so that, notice this is subjunctive, that we may live in freedom, because it's a choice. So we may not live in freedom if we don't choose to live it. So it's subjunctive. Vivamos en libertad. Por lo tanto, manténganse firmes. Therefore, maintain yourselves firm, firmes, y no se sometan nuevamente, negative to command, and don't submit once again, newly, al yugo de esclavitud, to the yoke of slavery. The scripture in English, it is for freedom that Christ has set us free. Stand firm then, and do not let yourselves be burdened again by the yoke of slavery. Hey, while there's so much time where you're alone and in quiet, I pray for you that you do not allow the slavery, the yoke of slavery of sin to just tie you up. So walk in the forgiveness and the life and the purity of Jesus Christ. That's my prayer for you. Now, we'll get to the verb of the day. El verbo del día es entrevistar. It means to interview. You see, we're starting Unit 7, and Unit 7 has to do with school newspaper and school events and things like that. And what you do, if you work for newspapers, you interview. Literally, entre means between, vista means sight. So it's interview. You see each other's perspectives. Entrevistar means to interview. Preterite tense. Haste, o, amos, aron. I interviewed. Imperfect tense. I was interviewing. Abba, abbas, abba, abamos, aban. Present tense. I do interview. O, as, a, amos, an. Yeah, jot it down. You're jotting this down. You can pause the video, jot it down. Present subjunctive. Oh, I hope she doesn't interview me. Es, hemos, en. It means I hope that. Say, opposite ending. That's our verb of the day. Listen for it today. Now, we're just working on vocab again today. Before you get to the part where I correct the homework, it's not going to be next, but at the end of this video, we're going to correct the homework. Make sure you have it done. You did it on your own. Okay, so now we're going to go to the text 385, your vocab list, your new list you're trying to memorize, 385, and we're going to read the list. I want you to practice out loud repeating these words. Yes, right there in your kitchen. Read them out. I don't care if your sister or brother is sitting next to you. Read it out loud. Your mom and dad will be proud of you. I'll be proud of you. Read these words. It is good practice to enunciate. Here we go. Discussing important issues. This quiz is Friday. Issues. You notice there's two sections. Important issues and school-related issues. That's Friday's quiz. Here we go. Cuestión. Opinión. Punto de vista. Point of view. Por un lado, on one side. Por otro lado, on the other side. This is when you're giving a story. Well, on one side, I think you should vote for this person, but on the other side, this person isn't that good. Por un lado, por otro lado. Por eso, for that reason. Remember, this and these have T's. Eso, that. For that reason. Por eso. Sin embargo. However, nevertheless. No solo, sino también. Not only, but also. Estoy de acuerdo. I know it says estar de acuerdo, to be in agreement. But you want to say, hey, I agree. Estoy de acuerdo. Or if you don't agree with me, you say, no. Profe, no estoy de acuerdo. I am not in agreement. Or I say, my mom is in agreement. Ella no está de acuerdo con el presidente. She isn't in agreement with the president. Whatever. All right. School-related issues. The first thing is friendship. Amistad. See the word amigo? Mm-hmm. Comunidad. Community. Escolar. All of it pertaining to school. What kind of books? Libros escolares. What kind of clothes? Ropa escolar. School. Adjective. School. Presión de grupo. It's group pressure, peer pressure. Vida. Life. Jesus Christ said, I am the way, the truth, y la vida. Nadie viene al Padre sino por mí. Vida. Life. All right. School newspaper. This will be second quiz next week sometime. All right. Contents. Advertisement. Anuncio. Article. Artículo. Entrevista, interview. It's part of the verb of the day, but it's a noun. Información, noticias. Periódico, like a periodical, a newspaper. Titular, like the title, the headline. Roles, these are things that you do, they're jobs at a newspaper, like the editor, editor, the writer, escritor, just add an A if you want it feminine, fotógrafo, photographer, periodista, journalist. A guy is going to be a periodista, a girl is going to be a periodista, doesn't matter. Okay? Functions at the newspaper, verbs in other words, describe, describir, interview, entrevistar, yeah, verb of the day, explicar, investigar, presentar, publicar. Here's some expressing opinions. These set up for the subjunctive. We'll be talking about those. They're expressions similar to ojalá que, because if you say these things, whatever comes after isn't necessarily true. Es bueno que, es importante que, es malo que, es necesario que, es preferible que. Read your vocab list once each day. From there, we go on to page 300, I'm on the wrong one, 368, 368, we're going to do activity 2. Yesterday we did activity 1, now we're going to do activity 2. ¿Quién es? Who is it? Identifica a la persona según la descripción. Identify the person according to the description. Esta persona dice cuáles son los artículos que van a publicar. This is the person that says what articles are going to be published. Why, she's the editor, editora. Number 1. Looking at you have photos. You have the escritora, you have the fotógrafa, you have the editor, escritor, and periodista. Here we go. Number 1. ¿Quién toma fotos para el periódico? Who takes pictures for the newspaper? Okay. I'll do it like this. And the answer to number 1, you should have es la fotógrafa. She's the photographer. Número 2. ¿Quién decide cuáles son los titulares? Who decides which will the headlines be? Es el editor o la editora. Número 3. ¿Quién entrevista a las personas? Who interviews the people? Journalist. How do you say journalist? Es el periodista. It's the journalist. Número 4. ¿Quién escribe los artículos o libros? Who writes the articles or books? Good. Es el escritor. Number 5. ¿Quién busca e investiga noticias? Who looks for and investigates the news? That would be the journalist. Es la periodista or el periodista. And finally, ¿quién lee los artículos y busca errores? Who reads the articles and looks for errors? Editor, you are right. Es la editora or el editor. Okay, we're going to rewatch the video from yesterday. Please watch this. Listen, try to learn. It's going to be in Spanish. The only way you can learn Spanish is by exposing yourself to it, listening to it, focusing. Now the subtitles are going to be there. Watch it and see if you can try to understand these words from our video. And then I have a couple questions from it. And
Yo soy Víctor. Este es el periódico escolar.
Lo publicamos todas las semanas. Yo soy escritora. También soy fotógrafa. Y editora.
Les explico. El editor o la editora dice cuáles artículos vamos a publicar en el periódico. También escribe los titulares.
Víctor es periodista. Hoy él entrevista a 2 amigas.
Hola, hago una entrevista sobre los uniformes y la presión de grupo.
El periodista hace preguntas y las personas explican su punto de vista o dan su opinión.
Sino también nos encanta la ropa que está de moda.
Primero, explícame, ¿por qué ustedes son amigas?
Somos amigas porque estamos de acuerdo siempre.
Describe tu amistad con ella.
Es una buena amistad. Somos muy buenas amigas. Nos gusta mucho estudiar, hablar, salir a pasear.
Y no solo eso, sino también nos encanta la ropa que está de moda. ¿Estás de acuerdo con eso?
El periodista siempre investiga para escribir sus artículos.
¿Están siempre de acuerdo?
Sí.
Entonces, ¿qué piensan sobre la cuestión de usar uniforme en la escuela? ¿Les gusta?
No.
Sí.
¿Cuál es tu punto de vista?
Por un lado, me gusta la ropa de moda, pero por otro lado, me gusta usar uniforme en la escuela. Con el uniforme no tenemos que pensar todos los días en la ropa que nos vamos a poner. No tenemos la presión de vestirnos siempre con ropa de moda.
¿Y cuál es tu opinión?
No me gusta el uniforme. Prefiero vestirme con ropa de moda.
Mira, gracias.
Gracias por la entrevista. Tania, aquí está mi nuevo artículo.
Leave it to Tanya. Leave it to Tanya. All right. And escena uno. Escena uno. We'll fast forward. Those are places we go every year in the Dominican.
Quiero publicar un artículo sobre la presión de grupo y la ropa en la escuela. Lorena, ¿qué estás haciendo?
Estoy filmando para mi documental. Es sobre el periódico escolar.
Víctor, tú eres nuestro periodista. ¿Puedes entrevistar a algunos estudiantes?
Sí, pero voy a necesitar un fotógrafo o una fotógrafa.
No, solo debes pedir opiniones sobre la noticia de que no vamos a usar uniforme el próximo año.
¡Qué mala idea! Los estudiantes van a tener que ponerse ropa diferente todos los días.
Bueno, ahora sabemos la opinión de la directora del documental.
All right, if you're thinking that Dominican girls have a chippy attitude, you are correct. That is accurately portraying the Dominican young ladies. I have a couple Dominican daughters myself. Well, I mean, a sponsored child, so know a lot of Dominican, and that is a typical response you'll see. All right, we're gonna get to the correcting the homework. So if you haven't finished it, pause the video and correct the homework. Once again, this is on your honor system. It's for you taking responsibility for your learning, and we're going to correct the answers. Hopefully you have thoughtfully worked through the homework. I'm on page 295, 295. All right, how many activities did you have done before this video? Number one, Veronica escribió. She wrote a blank. What did she write? She wrote an artículo. Number two, Veronica encontró she found a very important piece of information. Number three, Veronica made an interview with the director of the school. She didn't make an editor. Veronica published her opinion, should have a tilde, opinion of the students. And number five, Veronica wrote a very interesting blank. Best to say an interesting headline rather than an interesting newspaper. She didn't write an interesting newspaper, she wrote an interesting headline. Activity 2, just the 4 professions practiced out. The first profession, this person took some interesting photos. Obviously, you chose fotógrafo. Number 2, blank, put the pictures underneath the headline. Who would put pictures? Why, it would be an editor, editora. Number 3, who interviewed the baseball team? The interviewer's job is called the periodista, the journalist. And number 4, who wrote an interesting article? Who writes, but writers, and how do you say writer? Escritora. If you chose to do activity 3, it's real simple. Do you think there is peer pressure in your school, and why? Answer, sí, yo pienso que hay presión de grupo porque todos hacen lo que las otras personas dicen. I don't know. Why do you think there's peer pressure? Or why isn't there? No hay presión de grupo porque voy a ECA. Y no tienen presión de grupo. Yeah, right. All right, turn a page. So we're looking at newspaper stuff once again. And the first one, what does the fotógrafo do? Why, it's letter C. The fotógrafo takes pictures. Letter D. What does the periodista do? Oh, letter D. Yes, number 2, letter D. He investigates and interviews. Number 3, what does the editor do? Why, that's letter B. He organizes. And what does the writer do? A writer escribe. Yay. All right, activity 2. Leandro. There we go. Leandro trabajó mucho para publicar periódicos esta semana. Completa las oraciones. No siempre estamos, we're not always, here's your choices, with the opinions of other people. We're not always in agreement, de acuerdo. If you chose publicados, we're not always published with the opinions. No, that makes no sense. We're not always presented with the opinions. That would kind of make sense, but it's not the best answer. Number 3, blank es una cuestión muy importante. Por otro lado, es difícil. Blank, it's an interesting issue. On the other hand, it's hard to present. On one hand, por un lado. Number 3, we publish not only interviews, but ads also. Sino también. But also we publish ads. Number 4, before publishing the news, we blank the information. Yeah, right, we just made, oh no, yes, good. We investigamos. That's a good idea before you publish something. And we like to read the blank. We like to read interesting headlines. Issues, not so good. We like to read interesting opinions. I guess you could argue that. The answer key has interesting headlines, especially people who are too lazy to read the whole article. Okay, but anyway, so fix those. Activity 3, contesta las siguientes preguntas con oraciones completas. No, oraciones completas means complete sentences. If you did not write complete sentences, I need to take off some points on that. Make sure you did complete sentences. Personal question number 1. ¿Qué parte de un periódico miras primero? What part of a newspaper do you look at first? I don't know. Answers are going to vary. But maybe you would say something like this. Siempre miro las cómicas. I always look at the comics. O siempre miro los deportes. Siempre leo. Yo miro. Name the part of the newspaper that you look at first. And the second question is, ¿qué prefieres leer en un periódico? What do you prefer to read in a newspaper? Prefiero, me gusta, something like that. Los deportes, la política, las cómicas. What do you prefer to read? All right. Studying the vocab, that's step A. Monday and Tuesday, all we did is vocab. Tomorrow, we'll work on some grammar.